Welcome back to Mind and Magic. I'm your host, Frater Xavier. Today we're going to be responding to some comments, questions, and concerns that you have. So let's get right into it. Good afternoon, Frater X. I would like to personally thank you for your guidance in your mystery school classes. I have been addicted to heroin for 17 years. That's a long time. Most heroin addicts don't make it 17 years. And I don't know what it is, but I run into a lot of heroin addicts. Perhaps it's because my rising sign is Pisces, and Pisces is a sign that corresponds with addiction because its co-ruler is Neptune. Now, it's not like every day or anything, but I've run into my fair share of addicts, and you may be wondering, how do I know that they're addicts? Well, it's because they tell me. They just offer it up. Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm addicted to heroin. I'm like, what? And I don't know if I'm supposed to help them, if that's what the universe is trying to tell me to do. But I've learned, long ago not to give people advice unless they genuinely ask for it, because any advice given that isn't asked for will be resisted. But, I've had my own addiction with cigarettes before, and they say it's just as addictive as heroin. And so all I can really say about it is you'll quit when the pain of continuing is greater than the pain of quitting. That's typically what it takes. But let's get back to the email. I have been addicted to heroin for 17 years, and with the little dedication to your path you set out for all who wish to follow, I've managed to cast for a rehabilitation worth $50K. I have come to the end of my 5-week course and have done so well according to the staff. They have arranged for me to stay on site and enroll me into an aftercare program, which gives me a place to stay, 5 meals a day, and a stipend of $1.5K a week, or $6,000 a month for working towards the great work, not to mention a job when I'm done with secondary, as well as prospects to study psychology. Sounds like a pretty good deal. Congratulations, way to go. I have been able to fall in line with much of the Institute's Judeo-Christian background because of the different light you painted. I have gone from down and out with nothing, a junkie on the street, to having a place, being clean, reconciling with my family, and on my way to being who I believe I've always dreamt. Yeah, and as they say, if you never start, you'll never get there. Your situation has vastly improved, and all it's really taken from you is casting and committing. People have to really want to change to be able to. And that's why I go on about personal responsibility so much, because no one can really do things for you. You have to do them for yourself. Now, there are people there at rehabilitation, and they're there for support and to assist you. But ultimately, it's on your shoulders. And it's the people who realize this, like yourself, that end up changing and getting the results. So great job. That is absolutely fantastic. He writes, thank you for recommending Liam Thomas Christopher's book, as it was vital in the fruition of stepping into my destiny. If you could recommend a ritual to continue with after the LBRP, I would be very grateful. Well, all the rituals that Liam Thomas Christopher's book recommends. Kabbalah, magic, and the great work of self-transformation. And in the order as they're introduced. His book will walk you through it. And it's not like one comes after the other so much, because you're always going to be doing the LBRP. It's not like you do the LBRP and now you're finished with it and now you move on to another ritual. No, you're always going to be doing the LBRP. You just add more to it. You should probably already be doing the middle pillar ritual, because that's one of the first ones that's introduced. There's the banishing ritual, the hexagram. There's the 4 adorations. But I would recommend just sticking with the book. And as the book says, okay, now introduce this ritual. That's what you do. And I appreciate the testimonial, and keep it up. You're doing absolutely amazing. And it's good to hear from you, my friend. Hey, Frater, I just want to start out by saying thank you for all of your programs. I am enjoying them and learning a lot. So recently I've been looking for a house to buy and just haven't had much luck. So I was wondering what would be the best way to go about bringing the perfect house for my family and myself. I have most of your programs. Just wanted your opinion on the best way to go about this. Thanks. Believe it or not, I get asked this question quite a bit. Probably more than I run into heroin users. I should probably just go ahead and put it on my facts page already. I'm asked it so much, including this one just twice this past week or so. Here's the thing. House hunting magic is just like any other magic. It follows the same exact rules as any other, right? But people have this tendency to believe that it's going to take more, or there's some special way of going about it just because it's a bigger purchase and it's a piece of property as opposed to just an object. It really reminds me of the scene in Empire Strikes Back when Luke Skywalker tries to levitate his X-Wing spaceship out of the swamp and fails, and then Yoda, puts his hand out and just levitates it right out of there and puts it on the shore. And Luke says, "I don't believe it." And Yoda replies, "That is why you fail." And then he goes into size matters not. There's no difference. Judge me by my size, do you? I always tell people that if they treat things as a big deal, it'll be a big deal. And that which you treat as not a big deal won't be. And that goes for quitting your addictions as well. I've told the story of my friend who's always trying to quit cigarettes every time I talk to him. And he says, "I've been off cigarettes for 11 days. And I tell him, "You're not an ex-smoker yet because you keep counting the days. You're just a smoker who's counting the days. And you're only counting days because it's a big deal to you. I mean, congratulations, you made it 11 days. But if you continue to treat it as a big deal, it will be. It just makes it harder." And it's the same here with magic. There's absolutely no difference casting for a house than it is for anything else. It's only different in your mind.
No different. Only different in your mind.
It follows the exact same rules, the exact same process. However, one of those rules is that you better have a clear idea of what it is that you want. And that's to manifest anything. But when it comes to a house, it's even more important because there's just more in the house that you're going to want. Do you want a 1 or 2 car garage? Do you need or want a basement? Do you want a ranch? Do you want a 2-story home? The larger the home, the more you have to clean as well, which if you're a magical practitioner, you're going to be doing a lot of, as you've probably learned from my programs. What kitchen features do you want? How many bedrooms do you need? You need a very clear and concise idea of the house that you're looking for. And then while you're doing your ritual, and it doesn't even need to be anything elaborate, you can just do candle magic. You can use a white candle in the day and hour of the moon, which is Monday, or even the day of Jupiter in the hour of the moon, which would be Thursday. And while you're doing your candle magic, you visualize the ideal home that you're looking for very clearly, room by room. Imagine yourself in it. Turn up all your senses: sight, hearing, smell, touch. Touch the walls. Touch as many surfaces in the house in your mind as you can. Put all your senses into it. While you're simultaneously doing this, turn up your gratitude. Make sure you do all this within your sacred circle. Again, this is something to me that's just a given, but I need to say it for people who may not think that it's needed. As well as writing your petition for the home. Do it on parchment paper, or you can use a piece of a brown paper bag. Write it in pencil. We'll get into the why of all that at another time, but everything is symbolic. And then when you're done with your meditation, you let your candle burn all the way down. You can dispose of it on the property that you're at now, because it's something that you're trying to manifest. You're trying to draw it to you. It's that which you don't want coming to you that you dispose of off of your property. And that's it, other than you need to put it out of your mind and not think about it, which when it comes to needing a place isn't the easiest thing to do, but it needs to be done. That's part of the magic. It's the law of least expectance, right? It's getting rid of less for results. All right. And that's about it. I appreciate the question, because now I can point others to the answer when I'm asked it. And I wish you the best in your house hunting endeavor. I have a feeling your luck is going to turn around now. I want to give a quick shout out to our top tier patrons over at Patreon and Subscribestar, who are making a huge difference on this channel from their generosity. Ahmad Rashid, Andrew Baucamp, Bardan, Flutterlust 9, Howard Wolf, Jay Dodge, Yadiva Montalegre, Jeff Montes, Joseph Gurman, Justin Sanders, Liam Niedrich Jr., Matthew Della Garza, Nick Giacara, Rafik Kanovic, Sky Bister, Justin Mai, Kevin Johnson, and a few others who don't wish to be named. You know who you are. Thank you so much for your continuing support. It is very much appreciated and making a huge difference. Hello, Frater. I hope this message finds you and your family feeling well. I am, and we are. Thank you. I know that you probably do not do private readings for people. I do not. It's a time thing. There's just no way to be able to do that and offer that service and have time for anything else. My mother died on July 8th. My condolences. I think you wrote to me before saying that another family member had died recently as well, which I am sorry to hear about. My sister and I have been making funeral arrangements and preparing to settle Mom's business affairs. The funeral is Monday. My mother was 93, going on 94, and she fell in her home. Mom had dementia, and she fell in her bedroom about a month ago. After Mom fell, she couldn't get up. She wound up laying on the floor all day until the nurse finally showed up. She was taken to the hospital where she died a month later from complications of end-stage dementia. Now, that's the problem of getting old and living alone. Falling and not getting up is a real thing. A lot of elderly people go out that way. Here comes the freaky part. My 68-year-old sister has been staying in my mother's apartment since my mother was hospitalized. My sister has a lot of health problems too. To make a long story short, the exact same scenario is starting to happen to my sister. Okay, well, for one, it's not a long story short because there are, 4 or 5 paragraphs here. But this isn't unusual at all. You have someone with the same genetics in the same environment. She called me at 1:30 a.m. today, Thursday, July 14th, to tell me that she fell and she can't get up. This happened in the same room that my mother fell in, on the same carpet. My sister says she thinks she passed out about 2 p.m. and just woke up at 1:30 in the morning and then decided to call me. She said she can't get up because she can't put any weight on her knee. It's 4:39 a.m. on Thursday, and I will be over there as soon as I finish this email. Well, don't put it off just to write to me. I mean, if she needs help, she needs help. I would say that her situation is more important and should take priority. You can always write me an email after. She called me again to say that she finally managed to get herself into the bed and that her knee is swollen. There is a lot more to the backstory, but I don't have much time to write. My mother and sister didn't always get along very well. My mother said that my sister forged my mother's name on a car loan 30 years ago. That's just one of the things that my sister supposedly did to her. I remember you saying in many videos that the energy remaining on objects from people can affect the next person that touches the object. Touch isn't required. Objects can hold a charge, and when they're vastly personal objects, they can really be charged. Most so-called hauntings are caused by objects, the energy that has been charged into objects. And the show's not on anymore that I know of, but the best paranormal show was The Haunted Collector, because he would identify the objects and just remove them from the home and the haunting would stop. That's actually a thing. My sister has been sleeping in my mother's bed and touching everything my now deceased mother touched for an entire month. I would love to know what you think. I know the home needs to be spiritually cleansed, but I am the only person in the family who is an occultist. I don't know how I would do this without them knowing, and with my sister sitting in the apartment all the time. They are Christians. Thanks, Frater. All right, so yeah, this is pretty common. This stuff happens all the time. My girlfriend's parents were pretty old, and they had health issues too, and would fall down, her father especially, and would have to go to the hospital every other month or so. And then after they passed, her brother, who stayed with them, he started having the problems after they were gone, and even had a fall of his own off the front porch at one time. But see, you already know the answer. You said, I know the home needs to be cleansed. So you already have the answer. And most people who write me already know the answer. They just want me to confirm it for them. And so, yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm confirming what you already know. And luckily for you, a house cleansing isn't just an occultic thing. Christians do it too. They do house blessings all the time, particularly Catholicism. They have priests come by and bless the home. And it really just depends on which Christian denomination that they are. But Christians bless and cleanse houses more than anyone. They're always wanting to exorcise the demons because they believe that demons are responsible for everything. So just find a Christian corresponding cleansing and house blessing and you should be fine. But odds are they still won't want to do it. You just have to remind them every time that they fall that the house probably should be cleansed, they're blessed, and they'll do what my girlfriend's brother did and said, yeah, you're probably right, and then still not do anything about it. Some people just have to learn the hard way, you know? But you have the answer, and it's now up to you and your sister. And I appreciate the question and for you writing in, and I'm so sorry to hear of your mother's passing. Dear Frater Xavier, hope all is well with you. I'm glad you recovered from COVID. Thank you for all you have done for us. I will give a separate email some other time on the positive work that you have shown us and I was able to perform. Well, you know I do love a good testimonial. But this story I would like to tell you first since, as we speak, I am beyond pissed and frustrated. LOL. To make a long story short, I'm counting 6 paragraphs here. It's always the people who have the longest stories that say, I'm going to make a long story short. I'm just saying. And typically, if somebody writes something this long, I do skip it. I do live with my parents while I told them to move in with me when I first bought the house back in September. And Pops has always been beyond very negative. Well, you know the mythos and lore of inviting a vampire into your home, don't you? That it renders you powerless?
Don't ever invite a vampire into your house, you silly boy. It renders you powerless.
So I'm glad you've said this up front, because everything that happens from here out isn't their fault. It's yours. You invited them in. And I know they're your family and you're just wanting to help them out. But you also know what happens when you're around extreme negativity. Or at least you should. I mean, we've only talked about it 100 times on this channel. He continues, he has been so polarized and cursing so much to many people, especially the former president and any Republicans, excessively watches the news on TV, and watch that live show where they have females just talking negatively. Is it like The View or something? Pops has been on a downhill spiral, a downward spiral, where even my tenants believe he is bad. Okay, so you have tenants? How many properties do you own? Because if you had like an apartment complex or something, could you not just put them in an apartment instead of having them move in with you? And that way you're still taking care of them, but they have their own place? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking here because I don't know your particular situation. But if you have other properties, perhaps putting them up into one of those other properties would be the remedy that you're looking for now. Remember that lesson where you taught us about self-imposed jinx? Absolutely. It's in Words of Power, by the way. Well, now it has been kicking his ass and all of the family's asses, LOL. Since I borrowed his car 2 weeks ago, I have been on a major tilt. Expense after expense are coming after me. His AC in his car broke and the AC in his room. His TV broke a few days ago, and his health is going downhill. Our laundry broke. My dog got sick. Yep, the negative manifestations are starting to come in. My brother disrespects Pops constantly, where it came to a point where Pops cried. Even Mom has been saying that Pops has cursed himself because of how he thinks and what he says. Today, I let Pops borrow my car because his car doesn't have AC to take our house cat to the vet. Mind you, I take much pride in my car. Every car that I've owned, I've always took pride in it. Just tonight I came home. He said he was going to move my car out of the driveway so I could put his car first. While he was backing up, he didn't go straight back. He reversed sideways and hit my right side bottom fender on the curb and my raised flower garden, where it left a major white scuff and scratches on the car. That literally triggered my nerves so bad that I wanted to light 5 white sages at the same time to take the demons out of me. LOL. Lately, things haven't been going well, and I stopped practicing because of work, housework, and family. Also, my girlfriend always wanted to drink every weekend. The last time I performed a house cleansing was before we moved in. I'm getting my ass handled, Frater. Any good advice? I know I do feel like I need to go back to square one and start grounding myself again, but there's something heavy in my house, a very heavy energy, and it wasn't like that before. Well, see, you know what to do. You just told me what you need to do. And you know what happened. You just told me what happened and how it got that way. It's the negativity. It's not just your house that needs a cleansing. It's your pops that needs a cleansing. He needs an uncrossing. But you said you stopped practicing, and now you're getting your ass handed to you. You know what to do. Most of the people that write in already know what to do. You don't need my permission to do it. You know what was working before. So that's what you do. You do what you did before. You start practicing again, and you have to clear out the negativity. Now, I'm not saying you throw Pops to the curb, but if he's going to be hanging around and still being negative, you're going to have a lot of inbound stuff coming your way, or rather his way, but he's in your home, meaning that you can take some splash damage like your car just did. So you're going to need to be doing protection magic on the regular, because Pop's negativity is going to be regular, right? So if you can't get rid of the negativity out of your home, then you need to protect yourself from it. Protection and defense is one of the most important programs that you can own, but is also one of the most overlooked because many people don't turn to it until they're already in trouble. And if only they were to do some routine protection magic, they may have avoided the trouble altogether. Protection magic can be rather dull, however, because you're not manifesting anything. It's only really working when nothing is happening, or you're clearing up something that has happened. We're going to learn about the types of curses and attacks and how to tell if you're under them, how to remove curses and hexes, the correct way to cleanse your home of negativity, how to make your own holy water, how to remove cross conditions, reversal magic, how to send attacks back to the sender, the black salt pit, how to put those working against you into a hell pit of their own making, a psychic defense rite, and much, much more. Protecting yourself, your home, and those you love shouldn't just be a part of your practice, it should be your top priority. You can get protection and defense and other mind and magic programs over at mindandmagic.com today. Now, remember, you got yourself into this situation because you invited it in. So now you're going to have to deal with it because it's a lot easier inviting them in than, kicking them out. And nobody wants to have to go through that. Most of the people that these things happen to just believe that they're unlucky. Right? Well, I'm just unlucky. They don't believe that they're the source of the problem. And if you tell them that they're the source of the problem, then they'll hate and resent you for it, because nobody likes to be told that they're the problem. So if there's really no way to get rid of the negativity from Pops, then you're just going to need to protect yourself better against it for however long that takes until you could come up with a better solution. And I appreciate you writing in. And that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank everyone who wrote in. And if you want to learn more about removing the self-imposed jinx from yourself, check out the Words of Power program on mindandmagic.com, as well as other Mind and Magic programs and courses. Join us on Patreon and Subscribestar for early access and other tier rewards. And I will see you soon. Take care.